Okay, good evening. You're watching the Fighting News live on Facebook or on YouTube, one or the other, hopefully from the comfort of your own home. I am here with my co-host, Steve Rothman, founder and CEO of the Fighting News, the award-winning Fighting News, with his, what are you wearing there? Bruce Lee? What does that say on your shirt there, Steve?
Bruce
JKD.
Lee,
Okay.
John
Where,
Kwando.
where'd you get that from?
Bruce sent it to me. It's a foundation.
His foundation sent it to you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Interesting. Nice. All right. You got one for me or what?
Size small to extra large they have.
Yeah, that's what I was wearing yesterday. It was extra large. Steve and I wear the same shirt. Do you believe that, Jarod? You've seen me. You've seen Steve. You believe we wear the same size shirt? It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
mean,
believe,
I
man.
can't really tell over camera, but
No, but you've seen me in person, man. And Steve
yeah,
is
I've seen you in person.
yeah. So Steve's about what, five? What are you, like, 5'8", 5'9"?
6'2",
No.
sometimes.
All right, get out of here. We've wasted enough time.
Yes.
Anyway, the Fighting News, we're bringing you the best of local, regional, worldwide fighting news. All right, we've got bare knuckle, we've got MMA, we've got boxing. All right, and our featured guest here has lived in two of those worlds, both boxing and now the exciting world of bare knuckle fighting. We have with us Jarod Kid Gatti Grant, and we have his manager, Ryan Perez of Slaughterhouse Boxing. How are you two doing tonight?
I'm not his manager. I'm his head coach.
Head coach. Head
Yeah,
coach. Okay, my bad.
it's
My
all good.
bad. That was let me get I'll tell my secretary to revise those notes there.
No
All
worries.
right, head coach, yeah. And as a matter of fact, Ryan, we were talking about your coaching relationship with Jarod on the last show. So I'd like to hear that from your perspective because we've already heard it from Jarod's. So tell us how you two hooked up as a coach
Um,
and a fighter.
I was volunteering at the Pembroke Pines Police Athletic League, and he came in one day. He didn't really know anything about boxing, but he was hitting the bag, and I could see he had like heavy hands just the way he was hitting the bag. He knew nothing about fighting, but the way he was laying and the way he turned his hips, I could see he could throw a punch. And then, we just did the whole like, hey, just get in the ring and spar with a random kid. Like the other kid didn't have very much experience like him, but he was heavier than Jarod. And the kid had been in the gym for a few months. So I threw him in there, and Jarod just caught him clean with a right hand and knocked him out cold. So I was right there. I was like, hey, do you want to learn how to box? So then he was game, and I pushed him for like 2 weeks of some insane like training just to see if he'd quit before I wasted my time. Because again, I was just there like messing around with my kid and just doing it as like a hobby. I didn't really want to take it up again as like a sport and do it for real. But then he showed me at 2 weeks that he really wanted to do it. So I was like, you know what, I'll give him a try. And I think it was like literally 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after I started teaching him, I fought him in his first amateur fight. And
Right.
I took him in there. He didn't know anything. I told him just jab, jab, right hand, and walk the kid down because he hit hard. So I knew as long as he came forward and threw some punches, the kid was gonna feel him. So I just, he started boxing with me like at 17. So I didn't have a lot of time to like, hold his hand through the amateurs. So I turned him open after his like fifth or sixth fight. And mind you, like he fought 3 or 4 times within that first year, maybe 5 times. I fought him consecutively a lot because he had a little bit of time to learn. So he fought a lot of amateur fights in a very short period of time.
Right. So going back to that, you said he knew how to hit right away. Jarod, did you play any other sports, or you just where'd that come from? That was
Well,
just natural, or
I always wanted to do boxing when I was 16 years old, but my parents didn't have the money to put me in it. So I was just like, kind of like, YouTube videos. Maybe I used to box on the street and, with my friends and stuff. It wasn't until later that year that my cousin took me into the gym, and I met Ryan, and he, took me under his wing and kind of paid for everything for me and all that. I played like football in middle school, basketball in high school, stuff like that, but never any combat sports. Boxing was my first combat sport.
right, right. And did you stick to that game plan in your first fight? Jab, jab, right hand, walk him
Yeah, I
down,
did.
or
That's the only thing. That's the only thing I knew was jab, jab, right hand. I didn't even know. I remember I went to Ryan. I said, I don't even know how to throw a body shot. I didn't even know how to throw a left hook. I just did jab, jab, right hand.
Nice. So Ryan, you had the perfect student. He followed the game plan in his first fight, right?
Right.
And I'm
Right.
sure.
And I won that fight. I won that fight, by the way.
Unanimous decision.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
I mean,
Excellent.
I've always with Jarod, Jarod has a very aggressive style to him. So the biggest thing with him, I've always told him, is like, as long as you're in shape and you're in good condition, there's not a person that's going to stand in front of. And I mean, you guys gone to his amateur fights. Like, he might lose the little amateur fights because of the amateur rules, but he's giving damage every time he's in there hitting people. So I knew that eventually the pro world would be the lane to go with him. So I didn't want to waste a lot of time in the amateurs because his power was ridiculous. So, and now in the bare knuckle, it's just, it's not even fair, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Jarod was definitely an exciting fighter in the amateurs. I think it was 3 of your amateur fights that I've seen. One of them, there was 2 great performances. One of the performances wasn't as great. And I spoke to you a little bit before the fight and a little momentarily afterwards. What was going on there? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I'll tell you right now, I can guarantee you that fight is when I was just fighting to get back in shape because I took a year off of boxing, a year and a half. And at that point, I already knew I was going to turn pro. So I was like, let me get a couple more amateur fights. That was just fights to get me back in shape. I didn't really,
Yeah, we were I would say his last 5 or 6 amateur fights were just to get him back in shape and get him time in the ring because he had such a long layoff. And being 22, I wasn't going to go through the whole process again of like, all right, we're gonna fight for 2 years and we're gonna get right. I was like, no, we're gonna go 5 straight weeks, 5 straight fights, and we're gonna get ready.
Yeah.
So it was more of a getting him in shape those last few amateur fights than actually trying to win and making sure that he had the win to go all the rounds and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. And then Ryan, when the decision was made to go to bare knuckle instead of into professional boxing, how did you react to that at first?
I mean, I'm the one that came up with the idea. So I watched I watched the Mexico versus USA bare knuckle, like bare knuckle 1, the one that they had in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I watched
Cancun.
Yeah, and I watched that and I was like, holy shit, like this is the lane for Jarod. Because knowing how Jarod fought, I was like, this is where it's at. And I started reaching out to the BKFC people, and I started like sending them videos of Jarod and started talking about him. They kind of blew me off at first because they're like, no, this kid has no experience. He's never been in a combat sport. He's never done this. Like, you guys don't know what you're getting yourselves into.
And who was telling you that?
They kind of blew me off, and they kept pushing me off, and I just kept being persistent with it. And because of COVID, that was a big opportunity because the fight world stopped. So when it stopped, I was on the phone still making phone calls and saying, like, how could you not want this kid, the youngest kid to ever do it? How could you not want a kid to turn pro, like, in bare knuckle, not any other combat sport? Like, why would you not? That's not only is it great for the sport, but marketing alone.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about on our last show. I thought it was a big deal, and I definitely think it's a turning point. And I think that Jarod is gonna be like a trendsetter. I think there's going to be other people that are going to decide to start their career in bare knuckle, as long as it keeps taking off the way that it is right now, and if it keeps heading the same. And I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. It's just growing and growing, and I think each card they have gets better and better. This card that Jarod's on the 13th is phenomenal. Those fights are going to be great.
Right.
So,
No, and that was a big thing too. Like, you guys know that in the boxing world, until you're like a 20-0 kid who has a big following, a big sponsorship, a big backing, is really, the top 10 kids are the ones who are going to make it. So when I saw this for Jarod, I was like, it's an opportunity. He fought his first professional fight on the card with Thiago Alves.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
It doesn't get. It's pretty big deal.
I know that's true. If your first pro fight would have been in maybe a hotel lobby, somewhere, or a gymnasium,
Exactly.
a high school gym, so yeah, it's a big opportunity, and but it proves something else. It proves that good fighters come out of the amateur boxing ranks, especially in a state like Florida, which has a good amateur program. There's a lot of good, young, talented fighters that come out of the amateurs in Florida. Would you agree with that, Jarod?
I think, yeah, I agree completely. And I think that there's some amateur fights that don't get enough credit from what they do. And, it's always, oh, well, how is he going to adjust in the pro world? And how is he going to do this? And they don't really get enough credit because there are amateurs out there that fight just like pro fighters.
Exactly. And some of your fights with Matt, with Rambo, it looked like you were two pros in there, except you had headgear on. But if you would take the headgear off, that's the level, that's the skill level that you were fighting at.
I always had a pro fighting style in the amateurs. Like I never had an amateur style. My style was always pro. Even my coach knew that since the time I was like 18 years old. He knew I was a pro fighter more than an amateur fighter.
Right, and then when you go in there, you're composed. You know what's about to happen, and they saw that and they commented on that.
Yeah, even in the bare knuckle, like they thought I did that 100 times, but it was my first time ever doing that.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it. I heard them, and I'm sure you watched the replay and heard the the announcers, and they're like, "Yeah, he's never been in a combat sport before." Like they don't understand it. They don't know what the grind is like, what the amateur boxing grind is like for people like yourself that are successful at it. They don't understand.
They don't. A lot of people underestimate the amateur talent. To be honest with you, because a lot of these guys, what I've noticed, in the pro world, a lot of these guys don't have that amateur pedigree. And granted, Jarod had a short amateur run, but I always fought him at a high level of competition. I never gave him easy fights. Like even win or lose, I was putting monster after monster in front of him just so we could build for what we were build for the end result, which was going pro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're fighting in Miami, November 13th, Friday the 13th, which is 12 days away. Chris Johnson, what do you know about your opponent?
I don't really know much about him. I know that he has like one bare knuckle fight. I have one bare knuckle fight. I'm just going to go in there and do my thing, and we'll see who comes out and beats the better man.
Did you watch his fight?
Yeah, I watched his fight.
And what'd you think?
He has a little fight some, but nothing I can't handle. Like, if you want me to be honest with you, I think I'm going to take him out either in the first or second round, just like I did with the other guy. I don't see nobody standing. I don't see nobody at my weight, in my weight class, standing toe to toe with me, like throwing punches with me. I don't see that happening.
I mean, I honestly, I did a little bit more research on the fighter.
Yeah, Ryan.
The kid's a good little fighter. He's gonna come in there. He's gonna give Jarod a fight. He's gonna stand the pain with him. And honestly, that's the type of fighter I want. I think Josh Boudreaux was a good fight for Jarod for his first fight, but once he got hit once, he didn't want to fight anymore. So we didn't really get to see Jarod truly finish somebody off, like finish somebody. So with this kid, that's why this opponent's good for Jarod, because he's gonna stay there in the paint with him a little bit, throw a few punches, and maybe hopefully, I mean, the idea is to get a nice highlight knockout. So that's kind of what I want. I want someone that's gonna get in the paint with him, not someone that's gonna run from him or get hit once and just fold. That's not exciting, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to sell tickets and be the showstopper, be the main event. So
yeah,
we can't be main events with people quitting because they're getting hit too hard.
Yeah, well, you got an offer for the very next card. That doesn't happen that often,
Right. So, and honestly, I'm extremely grateful for Dave Fetterman and also for Nelson. They're really, supported us and really, believed in us. Because Jarod and I, we've done this, and I mean we have a partner with Bobby Grills who does Glass House custom mouth guards and stuff like that. So he's my partner with Slaughterhouse, but we've done this alone. So like I said, like during COVID, Jarod and I were on the phone negotiating, talking like, man, give us a shot. And we're blessed to get the opportunity. And I mean, we're going to step up to the plate every opportunity we got.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're feeling it. I'm sure they're happy that they did give you guys a shot, and they're probably kicking themselves that they didn't give you the shot 5 fights ago. But
and I'm telling you, I was on this from the first one. The first one I saw, I was like, oh, I got to sign Jarod up.
Yeah.
So if someone asks you, who do you think is the face of Bare Knuckle? Can you come up with a name?
I mean, right now,
yeah,
I would say the 135 division is the face of bare knuckle boxing. If you ask me, I'm not gonna say one's better than the other.
Yeah,
but I mean, the more exciting fights to me have been at the 135s. Because if you go to the heavy guys, they usually get tired or they get knocked out with one punch.
Yeah.
So I've seen, a lot of 135 fights go to distance. A lot of 135 guys get dropped, get back up. So I would say for me in bare knuckle boxing, the most exciting division's 135. And to me, the most exciting fight is obviously Jarod Kid Gatti Grant, without a doubt.
There you go. The face of BKFC.
Without a doubt.
The youngest fighter to fight BKFC.
We honestly wanted to come on here and talk to you guys because we respect like the 135s that are out there, Reggie, Dat Nguyen, and what's the other guy, Johnny Bedford. We respect all these guys, but I mean, we would like to be known as the executioners because we're just gonna put them all to sleep, and we're gonna just end all of that. Like the idea is honestly, we want the belt on whoever wins the belt between these guys. Because they're fighting for this interim belt, Jarod needs to fight the winner of that, no doubt about it. Because if Dat Nguyen got a belt title shot after 2 fights, why can't we?
Who do you think is going to win that fight?
Dat Nguyen out of Reggie and Dat Nguyen?
Yeah, they're fighting on the same card as Jarod.
Because Jarod's a street kid and I'm a street guy, so we kind of found it kind of in bad taste that Dat Nguyen made those comments about Reggie being a hoodlum and a delinquent and like all this nonsense that he was saying about him.
Yeah,
we found that in more bad taste than what Reggie's done, period, in his life. So I personally want Reggie to win off the strength of you don't disrespect a guy who's trying his best in life for some past mistakes. You know what I mean? So I'm on Reggie's side just off of that strength alone.
Right. So putting that aside. A boxer versus a brawler. Who do you think's gonna win?
Who would you say the brawler was?
Reggie. I say boxer versus the brawler.
I'm looking at that fight as boxer versus boxer. Just one has more skill than the other. That's what I'm looking at that like. That's gonna go. Mark my words right now. That's gonna go 5 rounds.
Wow.
You think
that's gonna go 5 rounds?
That's a long 10 minutes.
That's going to go 5 rounds. If you look at Reggie's record, Reggie's never knocked out anybody, or maybe one guy.
Yeah.
But that's.
Who do you think's going to win that fight, Jarod?
I'm not too sure. I am going for Reggie, but I mean, I know it's going to be a good fight because I know Reggie's going to try to outbox Nguyen, and I know Nguyen's going to bring pressure boxing to him. He's going to try to brawl him in a boxing, form and bring the fight to him. I know Reggie's gonna try to, throw a lot of jabs and just outbox him, and it might they might brawl a little bit in the beginning, but I know Reggie's gonna try to outbox him more than anything.
Yeah, I mean they both fought Adil Velasquez. Dat knocked him out, and Reggie went the distance with him. So
that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're both great fighters.
Yeah,
but I'm not expecting anybody to get knocked out cold or. That's what I'm saying. Like we want to put, like I said the last time on your podcast, we're putting the whole 135 on notice. Like we're not here to go 5 rounds. We're not here for all that. Like we're here to knock you out and keep it moving, and that's it. Like I'm not risking Jarod's face or nothing like that. Like, we're not going to sit in there in 5 rounds and fight you for 5 rounds. Like, even if we fought Reggie tomorrow, like Reggie on this card, we're not fighting you 5 rounds.
Right.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, who do you think the toughest 135er is for Jarod? Right.
The toughest, Dat Nguyen.
Okay.
And solely based on experience.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's fought in boxing world. You know, he couldn't even get a fight for years because no one wanted to fight him.
Right, but you and I both know boxing isn't bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
So I believe Jarod has the advantage on him on athleticism, strength, the youth, all that. The only strength Dat Nguyen holds on Jarod is the experience. But then again, they both have the same amount of experience in bare knuckle. So
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, I think you know, the bare knuckle, they've had this is their 14th event, and you know, Jarod could become the face of bare knuckle. It's such a new sport that, you know, it's open. You know, they haven't had one clear. I mean, if you ask me, I'd say Johnny Bedford is the face. Because why? Because he's the most recognizable bare knuckle fighter.
he's also the guy that comes down from like 152 to 135 to fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just bullying these little dudes. I mean, I'll take that fight too if it's for a belt. We'll take that fight too. With the next fight, I want to take a title shot. Like, we don't want to waste no more time. We'll fight the champion at whichever one it is, Johnny, or if it's Dat Nguyen, or if it's Reggie, doesn't matter.
Right. Well, the winner of Reggie. Yeah. Go ahead, Jarod.
With Johnny, every guy that Johnny fought, they all ran away from him. When he comes to fight like a guy like me that's gonna sit in the paint with him and throw punches, we're gonna really see how tough he is. Because I guarantee you, I'm not gonna run. I'm gonna sit in that paint with him and throw punches.
Yeah, I can't see that running from him either.
And then you got to remember too, you've seen every one of Johnny Bedford's fights. He always gets tired. They always get tired. So how long? And they're not even throwing punches the whole time. So if you're in a fist fight with Jarod for the first 3 rounds, how much you got left in the tank for 4 and 5 to go banging it out with Jarod? And that's Johnny Bedford's style. He just wants to sit in the paint and punch. How long can you punch with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, in fact, today it was just today I saw that there was one news outlet had their top 10 list of the top 10 bare knuckle fighters, and Bedford was number 1. But it's just a fact that only today they came out with that top 10 list of all time. So you know, the sport is growing, man, and you guys are in the right place at the right time, I think, and it's exciting. And so, if you get this defeat, if you get this win on the 13th, you want to fight for the title next. All right.
Steph, I can guarantee you guys I'm going to be the youngest bare knuckle world champ.
That's what's up.
You heard it here first, folks. The youngest champ. He's already the youngest signed to bare knuckle. He wants to be the youngest man with a belt. All right. We are definitely in your corner, man, because we have, you know, again, we've known you for a while now, and we've seen you fight, and we definitely put on a show in there.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that I'll be the youngest world champ in bare knuckle.
Let's go. To prove yourself, you got 12 days.
And we just want to put it out there now because you guys are the social media plug. We want to put it out there right now. The winner of whatever 135 belt there is, we want all that smoke. We want to fight anybody who got enough balls to get in the ring for Jarod for a belt. Anybody. It doesn't matter. It could be Johnny. It could be Reggie. It could be Dat. It could be anybody. The next fight in BKFC, we want the best. We don't want to keep running through these not sorry dudes. Anybody who gets in the ring has my respect. But we want to be challenged, and we want to fight the best. Period.
All right. Well, he's got a couple.
That's the soundbite right there. That's the soundbite right there, Ryan. Thank you for that. All right. That's the one we're going to put on repeat 100 times. All right.
All right. Bet.
Yeah. Awesome. So what else is going on with you guys? Any other news?
Well, we're looking at some other opportunities for Jarod. my end goal, my goal, like long term, is I want to have Jarod by the end of like next year, maybe 5-0 in every combat sport, boxing, MMA, and BKFC. So that's kind of where we're headed next. We're probably gonna do a UFC match maybe in December. We're looking at that. If all goes well, he doesn't like hurt his hand again and stuff like that.
With
We'll
what?
probably-
With what? With the UFC?
No, one of those. I don't know the name of it.
Titan FC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that too. So I told Jarod to reach out to
Lex.
Thiago Alves and tell him to give him some rounds on the mat. So hopefully that works out.
Yeah. Well, who are you training the MMA with? Where are you doing that?
I mean, Jarod has a little bit of jiu-jitsu background from like when he was a kid, but I mean nothing crazy. But we haven't got that deep into that yet. So like we just want to cross one bridge at a time. So ideally it would be win this fight coming up, either get a title shot right away with the winner of whoever wins those fights, or go get a fight in UFC, MMA type stuff.
Right. So he'd have to start old. How would that work? Because I mean, technically he'd be a professional because he's got the bare knuckle experience. I wonder if they would start him at the professional level in MMA, or if he'd have to get a couple of amateur MMA fights first.
I don't know. That's why I'm looking forward to clutch a world title, because then if you're a world champ, they really won't say nothing then, right?
Probably not.
Listen, Ulysses Diaz did it. He fought the boxing, then he fought MMA, and then he fought bare knuckle. And
Right.
I think he likes bare knuckle the best.
No,
His adrenaline was rushing.
Honestly,
crazy.
like I see a future and potential in Jarod in a variety of sports, but there's no harm, if get him a few MMA fights, a few, bare knuckle fights, a few boxing matches, and then whatever opponent steps up to the plate that's, saying, hey, we're willing to drop this type of money to fight you. Well, then he at least has a little bit of background in everything, so he wouldn't be getting dominated in anything.
Yeah, that's why they call it a prize fighter.
Right.
He fights for the money.
Right.
Yeah. Show me the money.
There's no point. I don't believe, like, even though the bare knuckle stuff is, don't get me wrong, it's some savage shit, like punching people. It's savage. I agree 100% with that. But the opportunity that they give, like, some of these fighters is, it's priceless, to be honest with you, because like that's really what sold me in this for Jarod. I just saw a bigger market, a bigger potential to like sell him and market him and everything in bare knuckle, and that's really truly why I chose this, because he could have been a solid boxer, professional boxer. He could have been, all that to start off with, but this was just this is what made more sense than any other of those combat sports. Even though how crazy that sounds, but
Jarod, if you can pick one of those sports to spend a majority of your career in, what do you think it would be? Would it be the boxing, the bare knuckle, or MMA?
Like, as in, like, which one's my favorite, or which one I picked for more longevity?
Yeah, which one can you see yourself spending the most time in?
If you want me to be completely honest, I think it would be bare knuckle. And I know it sounds crazy, but in boxing, you actually get hurt a lot more doing 10 rounds, 12 rounds. And bare knuckle, yeah, you're gonna have lacerations on your face, you're gonna get cut and stuff. But remember, it's 2-minute rounds, 5 rounds, and it rarely goes 5 rounds. Boxing, you gotta, you're getting beat up for fucking 10 rounds, 12 rounds, and that does a lot. That does a lot to your body, like, especially because if you're durable and you could go 12 rounds of boxing, but you're getting beat up and stuff, I mean, you're taking a lot of damage. Bare knuckle, you'll get some cuts on your face, it may be swollen, but you're not really taking, like, brain damage or nothing like that, So I mean, I
honestly think the most dangerous part about it is the hands. Him damaging his hands. That's what bothers me the most. As his coach, and the person who's taking care of him from the jump, what worries me the most about bare knuckles is the longevity of his hands doing that.
Right.
It's not the cuts on the face. Keep your chin tucked, whatever, you'll be okay. But it's more of, we had to take literally maybe a good 4 weeks, 5 weeks after his fight just to get his hand right again.
Yeah.
You know what I
Couldn't
mean?
spar for like
We couldn't
weeks or
spar.
so.
We couldn't hit the mitts. There was a lot we couldn't do until his hand got right. So is how many times can we go through this damaging the hands and then that being a reflection of the longevity of boxing?
For sure.
So, but
Right.
then it's that scale of, okay, are they going to give me a crazy check to keep doing this bare knuckle stuff versus going to go get $1,200 in the boxing ring, $1,500 in the boxing ring?
Right. So I guess now, I mean, probably the biggest money definitely is at the high levels of boxing.
Right.
There's good money in the higher levels of MMA for sure.
Right.
And I'm sure the one or two big bare knuckle guys also have big contracts, although I've never seen those numbers. But yeah, it's all, you're taking a risk in all those sports.
100%.
We were talking to Chris Weidman's coach, man. That guy's had 23 surgeries. 23, and then he's in his 30s. I mean,
Right.
he had a long wrestling career too. But that's you're going to take damage anywhere.
Yeah, and to me the cuts and the laceration, mind you, it's not my face, and I'm not one to like. It's not my face that's going to get the cuts. But my huge concern is the hands, because being that he hits so hard, he could damage something permanently in his hand by hitting a guy in the back of the head. Like, the reason we damaged our hand the first time was that he was hitting this guy in the side of his skull like he had a boxing glove on. So there's a lot of things that we adjusted watching the fight afterwards that I saw sitting down. I was like, all right, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to do this anymore. And a lot of things I took away from the initial game plan, because it was our first time doing it, my first time coaching a corner of bare knuckle, and I learned a lot. And then we made those adjustments now for this fight to avoid damaging the hands. Landing way cleaner punches, landing shots that like right on the button, on the temple or on the chin, not wasting like crazy punches on just hitting whatever.
Yeah, Ryan, let me ask you something. I'm going to give you the circle here. So what are you preparing? What's your daily workout for the next 12 days? What'd you do today, workout wise?
So on Mondays we usually do strength and conditioning. So we did our.
I'm sorry. I was asking Jarod.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Ryan.
Oh, my bad.
He did say Ryan.
My bad.
Monday we do strength and conditioning. Really throughout the week, it's whatever Ryan really gives me. We focus a lot on cardio, and maybe like 2 days out the week, maybe we're lifting weights and stuff for strength. But our main focus is always really cardio, because we have such an aggressive style of fighting that's what we need the most, to keep throwing punches, to keep walking down, to do all that stuff.
Yeah. And you're on weight. You still got to lose some weight.
No, I'm on weight. I've been on weight for the past 2 weeks.
Okay, good. So you're. What'd you do today? What was the workout today?
We focused on cardio, slipping punches.
You run any mileage? You run a few miles?
Well, my coach does. He gets inside his car. I run beside his car for about 40 minutes, and we do that. So we really don't count the miles sometimes. We just do it. Make sure we go at a steady pace for 40 minutes, and then we'll do sprints. I'll do sprints and then maybe at the end of the night I'll go running again.
Nice. So you're ready, man.
Yeah, he's not. The biggest thing I've always told Jarod is that as long as his conditioning's right, his power is always going to be there. The biggest thing is not to get tired in that ring.
Your dad going to be at the fight, Jarod? Jarod?
Am I not going to be there?
Jared's dad was he at the last fight?
Yeah.
No, I'm not too sure yet. That I can't answer that question right now. So
yeah.
I'm not very sure about that.
Yeah, you had your whole entourage over there. I saw everyone wearing your shirt. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You got the same brand, or you got a new
No, I actually have these people probably making me some shirts.
Yeah.
They want me to promote them, so they're making me my own customized shirts.
Nice. Yellow? You're going with this yellow and black colors?
No, we're going with more like a Miami look, like a greenish, pinkish. Like it's gonna look good. I haven't seen the final product yet, but it's
Like the pastels, like pastel color,
Yeah.
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like
Nice.
that.
Miami Vice colors.
Miami Vice colors. That could probably be the word to use. Nice.
Yeah, save us a couple. We'll buy a couple from you for sure.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. You have any last words for the fans, or anyone you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors?
Just thank you to my manager Nelson, David Fedman, for giving me the opportunity to keep fighting here. Clearly, my coach Ryan Perez, my other coach Bobby Henry, and just everyone that supports me.
All right. Yeah, we want to we want to meet those them Henry boys. All right, we're gonna have them on the show next time. We're gonna have them on the show in the future. Ryan, you'll keep us posted as to what's going on with them, and when they have some action coming up.
They both had their pro debut. Now they're both 1-0, and we're looking probably December too to fight them again in December.
Nice. Do you have? Is it easy to get them on the same card because they're brothers, or what?
Honestly, that was because they were brothers, and I thought it would be a unique experience to fight on the same pro debut with your brother. It's just a memory that they were gonna have forever. But it was very difficult to get 2 matches, get them matched up, get them on. It's hard to do 2 fighters on the same card. I'll say that. I'll give props to all those managers and promoters and matchmakers that do that job. I don't want that job for sure.
No.
That's a tough job. That's a tough job.
Yeah, because you're dealing with too many personalities and too many. I got myself in the middle of one of those negotiations recently, and I'm glad I got myself out of it quickly.
Yeah, and that's one thing, honestly, I really like about Dave and what they're doing with the BKFC is that Jarod's known about his opponent now for about a month. Everything has been on the up and up. The opponent hasn't pulled out. Everything is going smooth, and that's good because for training camp, we don't have to worry about a last-minute opponent change. I mean, granted, that could still happen, but obviously they work on not making that happen, and they make it all organized so well that you're not like my brother. The 2 brothers that I fought, I mean, we didn't know what opponent one of them was going to have till like the week of the fight, so it's a lot tougher. And I do appreciate the BKFC for having that so under control that as a coach, it makes it better because you can get your fighter ready for the guy he's actually fighting.
Yeah, well, the field I think is a lot smaller in BKFC. There's a lot less guys to choose from, in the boxing world, especially at that level.
Well, it got a lot bigger. They just they've had a bunch of tryouts in a bunch of different states to do the talent, and now they have that toe the line program where they're getting a lot of people also.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good step. I think it shows the different level. That way, if you're cut out for it, you get a few fights on toe the line, and if you're cut out for it, then you get a chance on the big stage. But
yeah,
it gives the sport a more respect and notoriety when there's levels to it instead of like, oh, Joe Blow could jump in the ring and fight there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like what the UFC does with the Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter. That's what I'd like to see one day. I'd like to see Dave Feldman buy a house somewhere and put all the fighters up in a big house and
But see the difference between this show, that reality show, and the UFC one, dudes might lose their whole face at one of the episodes, and he might not be able to fight ever again on the show. So that's the whole catch of that type of reality show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You might be the first fight of the TV show, and then you're done because your whole orbital socket's crushed.
Yeah.
But it might be tough to have a reality show with that.
Woo.
Yeah, there's
maybe they'll put some gloves on for the practice rounds.
No, that is not BKFC anymore. You might as well go do UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all that kind of risk there is in MMA as well. I mean, you're throwing knees and elbows in MMA, and it's combat is a lot closer. Also, there's a bigger chance for headbutts and things like that.
I feel in MMA it's more of like the martial art, like the grappling and the leg, like the chokes and all that stuff. But I don't feel I've never really seen too many UFC fighters with quality, like fight skills, like real boxing. Like I've never really, like look at the Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was running through everybody in UFC, got in the ring with Floyd, looked like he never had fought a day in his life.
Yeah, well, that's Floyd Mayweather.
Well, I mean, it's just like the way I look at it, like them MMA guys have to worry about so much other things, like the ground game, the kicks, and everything else that they don't really have. They don't focus on the actual boxing part of it or the fight. Because every MMA dude has an open stance, an open guard, like every one of them. Like I haven't seen one that stands. Like the guy that Jarod's fighting is like an MMA guy. So
right. Well, they got to defend against a takedown, and they got to defend against low kicks and things like that. So the stance is definitely going to be different. But have you seen that guy? Oh man, he's up for like fighter of the year. What's his name? Clay Collard. Have you seen him? He's fought 4 or 5 times in the bubble since COVID started. He knocked out. He's from the MMA world, and he knocked out 2 undefeated prospects, and he knocked out, I think, 1 or 2 other guys. He had to pull out of his last fight like 2 weeks ago, or whatever, because of COVID. I think he tested positive, but he's fought, like 4 times already. He's an MMA fighter, and he's knocking out these undefeated boxers, that are young up and coming prospects, and he's doing it in such an ugly way, man. It's
like that guy Jorge Masvidal. I forget his last name because I'm not a huge UFC MMA fan. Masvidal, like bro, just his little bit of good boxing that he has with his aggressiveness of like the backyard fighting that he did forever. He made a huge impact in UFC just because of his style.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
what do you think's gonna win the main event at BKFC 14? Jim Allers versus Louis Baboon for the belt, the BKFC belt.
Like again, I've never been a huge like UFC MMA dude, so I've never really even watched either one of those dudes' MMA fights in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie to you, but from what I've seen them in BKFC, because I've watched their BKFC fights.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim seems very aggressive. He's gonna come off the line. He's gonna come swinging off the line. So I feel his aggression, and he trains with Kevin Gleason, who Gleason's an amazing coach. So I know his condition and his training is on point.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other guy's training or who he works with, so I can't say the same about him. But I know Jim. If I had to see, based on what I've seen on UFC, I got my money with Jim, the underdog. So I'm taking both underdogs on both main events. I got Reggie and I got Jim.
Jim and Reggie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a great card. I like it. I'm very excited for it.
There's that other guy that you guys interviewed. I've seen that guy box before. That guy's a monster. The dude with all the tattoos.
Yuli.
No, not Yuli. The other guy, the white dude. Jake Bostwick.
Jake Bostwick.
That dude's a fucking monster.
Yeah. Big shout out to Jake, man. Love that guy. He's one tough son of a bitch, and he is he's a nice.
I was in a gym I was at a gym one time and I watched him spar, and I was like, damn, that dude's a monster. And then now I just see him like, oh, bare knuckle fight. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
And
the way he puts it is, I can't wait to lay my hands on him.
Yeah, no, that dude's insane. And he's like one of those, like I think I follow him on IG because I see a lot of his posts, and he's one of those freakishly well-trained dudes that's always in shape and always working out. So
yeah,
I feel bad whoever's fighting him.
Well, he's training with Phil Daru at Phil Daru's new place, the Daru Strength and Performance Center in Boca Raton, and we were down there on Saturday. We interviewed all of them. We interviewed Jake. We interviewed Phil. we interviewed Derek Santos, his boxing coach.
Yeah.
He's a world class boxing coach right there, and his manager is being managed by Maureen Shea, who's a two-time boxing champion, and she knows the fight game inside and out also, and they all
shout out to all those guys.
Yeah, and
No,
they all train like monsters.
Nah, that dude, like I said, I don't know a lot about them. Like, I don't know a lot about them, but I was like, the one time I seen him spar one time, I was like, dude, that dude's a monster. And then I seen that he was going to fight on BKFC. Also, like, Yuli's a good friend of mine. I really value, like, Yuli as a person outside of the sport. He's just a really good dude.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to Yuli's house on Thursday. We're going to interview him for BKFC.
That's awesome. No, he's a genuinely great person. Like, even outside of the sport, I could see, like, Yuli being just a great person always to me and being a great friend to me, regardless, even if it has nothing to do with the fight game.
Yeah,
he's just an overall great dude with a genuine and good heart, trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, we've known Yuli for years, man. He was one of the first. He was in one of the first fights that I ever covered with the Fighting News here, years ago.
Yuli, shout out, monster.
Yeah, he's a great dude, and like I said, like, not even in the fight world, just a general and just a person, how he is and how he talks to people and how he treats people. He's definitely a really nice dude, and I value that friendship that I have with him.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And he does so much. He wants to do so much. He's always it's inspirational. He's
exactly
always trying new things.
Inspiration. Like, he posted something on Instagram not too long ago. It was like a video clip of saying like birds of a flock fly together, and it was like this whole inspirational video of like how he went to jail and he did all this stuff. Like, I literally had to text him. I was like, bro, you motivated me this morning, and that's hard to do, and you motivated me this morning, because like, he's really inspirational. He like really tells people, he gives the people access to his life, which a lot of people at his popularity don't do. He's very open. He's very open and friendly and willing to help out anybody. So he's a great human being. That's all I can say about him.
Martin Luther King. Birds of a feather flock together. If you hang out with losers, you will be a loser.
Right. That was the one. That was the one. He made like a little a cool little montage to it. Yeah. And like, it literally inspired me. And I reached out to him and I was like, bro, you actually inspired me this morning, and thank you for it. And he's like I said, forget the fighting game. He's just a genuinely nice person, and he's always treated me with respect, and I got nothing but love for Yuli.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to him, and we wish him all the success in the world, and we'll keep covering, whatever he does. I like that video he did, and I can't believe nobody else thought of it, because the fight's on Friday the 13th. So he did that video. I don't know who produced it or whatever, but he dressed up as Jason, and he's chasing around the guy with the machete.
It was great. He's a marketing genius. I'll give him that, man. Like, his marketing and the way he promotes himself, it's amazing. Like, I'm just impressed with that, and he has the whole Miami following, which is nuts.
Yeah,
Jarod and I are working on that. Jarod's following isn't the strongest, but I'm sure if you guys follow him on Instagram, he's a little out there, so his following will grow once people get to know him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's in a good spot, man. This people are watching this. This is the fastest growing, fight sport there is.
Yeah. He definitely makes some noise. They were commentating. They were talking about him, and I'm sure they've, this time they'll give him a lot more of a. I'm not going to. They gave him a fair shake, but they just didn't know anything about him.
No, for sure. They gave us a great stage for his first performance. I mean, I can't. I'm more than grateful to BKFC for the opportunity that they gave him, because to start off where he started off and he wasn't even like on the prelims, like he was on the main card. So like, all that. And that's another big shout out to Nelson from Reynolo Management, because, he's the plug. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But this time when they announce him, they're going to be like, yeah, here's the kid that knocked down his opponent 6 times in his first fight,
Right. And that's another thing too. Like, Josh Boudreaux, he was a tough dude because I knew he was gonna get up and keep fighting. So I'm grateful that they matched him up with a tough dude like that, because it gave us an opportunity to show a little bit more of Jarod to everybody instead of him quitting in the first round.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, if he was hurting his hands and he went to the body, and he had a couple of great body shots on that guy, and we definitely look forward to seeing him again on the 13th.
So, any last words, Ryan?
Like we said before, we want all the smoke at 135. If it's Reggie, it's Reggie. If it's Dat, it's Dat. And if it's Bedford, it's Bedford. We just want our opportunity for the belt, like everybody else has got a chance. And just give us our chance and let us prove ourselves that we deserve to be the world champ.
Boom. Everyone tune into Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. If you don't have the app, download the app at BKFC.tv, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.tv. You can go to your Apple, iPhone. You can download the app also. And you can watch all these great fights. And the best part about it is when you're talking about the fights, you can see any fight you want out of all the fights that they've had. It's pretty.
The app is definitely worth it for the 100%.
The $4 or $5 to watch those fights every month. Can't beat that.
Yep.
Well, I watched the last one. I watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
If I'm going to write an article or interview the fighters, I'm going to watch it more than once. And
it's awesome. That app is awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. They did a good job on that.
So we're going to see you, Ryan, in 12 days from today. Keep Jarod in high spirits, and keep him hungry, man.
We'll be ready to go. He's always ready to fight. So look forward to fireworks, because we're coming to take someone's head off. So look out for fireworks.
All right, Ryan.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you.
Right. Thank you. Best of luck, man.
So it's a wrap, Matt. It's a great card coming up Friday the 13th, November 13th. It's at the Miami Intercontinental. We've been there before. It's going to be a great event, and I'm excited. I got my gear all set up, ready to shoot, and let's go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think this is probably their last card was great. I think this card is even better. I think Bostwick is a huge addition. He's going to be a huge draw to this organization. I think Jarod, now that he's that much more confident going into his second fight. Allers and Palomino, forget about it. That's going to be a war. That's a great fight. Lorenzo Hunt, man, that guy just keeps getting better and better. He's going to put on another show. Who am I missing? What am I missing here? I don't think there's a bad fight on the card.
Yeah, exactly. Like any one of these fights you just mentioned could be the co-main event, could be the main event, and when they stack a card like this, and it's just absolutely amazing to me. Right.
And Yuli, how did I forget Yuli? Because we were just talking about him. All right, you got all these great fighters, all these exciting guys. One after the other.
Is that the custom XFN shirt we made for you?
It is. This is the custom shirt, the one with my name on it.
Show the fans. Show the fans what's on the back.
I can't really do that.
You just turn around.
I can't really do that.
Oh, Matt's naked right now. He's only top heavy. Only wearing a shirt, huh, Matt?
I live in this seat, as you can tell, because this is where I work during the day, so I know what I can get away with. I'm just messing with you. You think I'm God? Come on now. There you go. It says, can you see it?
Yeah.
There, it says Matt.
Just bend down a little bit, because it only sees, fighting news, combat sports. Boom, boom, boom. There you go.
So if you're out there and you're wondering, how can you get your custom XFN shirt? You can't, unless you go to XFN. Next XFN is going to be right in our backyard here in Boynton Beach at Museum 66. Shout out to Daniel K for that. We don't have to drive to Miami. What do you think about that, huh?
Boom, shakalaka.
You didn't even hear what I said. Your ADD is getting to you. Come on, man. All right, next XFN. What's the date on that? That's in December. I want to say around 20th, but we'll put that on the website or whatever.
We're going to put it all up. We got a bunch of events coming up. Very excited. We're going to have a great November.
Absolutely. And if you're keep an eye out for the interviews that we shot with Derek Santos, Maureen Shea, Jake Bostwick, and Phil Daru this past weekend. They're in editing right now, but they'll be up soon. A lot of good content right there. A lot.
That's what's up. And guess what, people? The fighting news, because Matt did such a great job in helping me win this award. I got one for him. The Fighting News 2019 Media Source of the Year. The Fighting News. I got you one, buddy.
All right. Who helped you?
Before that, what?
Who helped too? I thought you were helping me with this. Never mind. All right, let's get back to whatever we were talking about. What kind of nonsense were we talking about here?
We're talking about all the events happening in November. We talked about BKFC today. We know every fight's going to be a good fight, and that's what we got going on. We got another show coming up.
One more show. It's like life on the road. I'm telling you. You know, when I retire, I'm getting the Fighting News van, man. I am.
The Fighting News van.
I don't care. I don't care what it costs me, man. I don't need this house. I'll live in the van.
One of those vans you're talking about just parked behind my my office space. There's a guy and a girl living in it. I don't know who they are. They just parked.
Well, you have to just wrap it with the Fighting News and give them a couple of bucks to drive.
Yeah, go drive around. I don't think the car works. I don't think that thing works. But wrap it up. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. We're over an hour, which we usually like to keep it under an hour. Actually, we got 3 minutes for the hour. So it's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in to the fightingnews.tv.
We appreciate all the support, all the good vibes, all the shout outs, all your comicness on the Instagram. That's always fun. And follow us, all right? And look at the stories, too. We got some funny stories on Instagram.
Follow us, Instagram, at _fighting_news. The Fighting News on YouTube. We got about 300,000 views this freaking month. It was crazy. Like, literally, on all the videos. We keep building milestones on the YouTube channel. Watch hours, subscribers. We went up 1,000 points last month in October. 1,000 new subscribers. So shout out to subscribe. Based on basically on a video that we had that went viral. Wow. And the Shannon Briggs video we have is still going viral. So check it out. The Fighting News on YouTube. And like, subscribe, comment. Peace out.
Good night.
Night.